A very good morning, children. Students, I just want you all to tell that please kindly purchase your books. If you all purchased, please be regular to the classes as government has announced that online classes can be started. So we our school has been already started, but some children did not follow the classes. But at least now you all follow the classes and send your homeworks regularly. It will be helpful for your children. These lessons we won't be repeated again in the school after school reopens. Don't know as a situation we don't know when the school will be open. So as of now, you all attend the classes as well. Send your homeworks in your group because we teachers all are taking the attendance who are following regular classes, who are not following the regular classes, and as well as homework also. Please send your homeworks so that it will be improve your knowledge as well as something you'll be learning, children. Okay, follow the classes regularly. Okay, fine. Again, the recap of the lesson: oceans and fishing. Okay, fine. The Earth is known as watery planet as it only planet in containing water in abundance. It is estimated that 71% of the Earth's surface covered by the oceans and seas. As of you all know that 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by the oceans and seas. Our Earth planet, right? What is your image of the sea or an ocean? What have you seen or heard about oceans and seas? An extension of saline water or earth on earth is called sea. Okay, large sea areas are called oceans. Oceans are huge bodies of water generally separated by continents. Yes, so an extension of saline water on the earth is called sea. Large sea areas are called oceans. Okay, oceans are a huge bodies. Oceans are huge bodies that are separated by continents. Okay, so it will be interesting to find out what lies under the water. The surface of water does not tell us about what lies under it. You may have had an opportunity to notice or feel what the bed of the river or a stream or a pond is like. So we don't know what it is, right, children? We'll be finding interesting to know what if the bed of the river or the stream or the pond is like. Yes, we don't know. Yes, we'll find it out now. Ocean relief. The floor of the ocean is just like a surface of the earth. The bottom of the sea is not flat surface. Yes, we know that, right, children? The bottom of the sea is not at all flat. Yes, it consists of hills, mountains, plateaus, plains, trenches, etc. Many trenches on the ocean floor are so deep that even if the Mount Everest was placed in them, okay, it is very deep, the trench. Here in the image we can see the trench, right? See, so this is the relief features of the uh, of an ocean. Okay, so an ocean there is not a flat surface. Yes, so and there are so many curves on it. Yes, children. So in this way the sea relief will be down completely. A major part of the ocean floor is about 3.6 kilometers below the sea level. Figure 4.1 is a sketch of different kind of landforms that can be found under the surface of an ocean. Figure 4.2 shows the relief feature of what lies before the surface of the oceans around India. So there are so many see, this is the India part, right? So this is all the water bodies that are covered throughout the, and it is got separated by one continent to the other continent. Yes or no? And these in the figure 4.1 is a sketch of different kinds of landforms. So we can see over here the sea level, deep sea plain, the trenches, the continental shape, how it is differently of the all the land surface in the ocean, right? In figure 4.2, observe the land mass of India and then go over to the floor of the Bay of Bengal, the Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean. Try to point out areas look like hills, mountains, and trenches on the ocean floor. If we go depth to the um, figure, we can find it out, right? How the oceans has been getting separated from one continent to other. Yes, okay. The waters of the oceans are never still. There are different kinds of movements in them. Yes, of course. They are these are water, right? They are not any other thing to be still to the position. Yes. So since these are water bodies that they will be having a waves in them. So what are the waves we'll see now? Ocean waters have three kinds of movements. What are the movements? Three kinds of movements. That is nothing but waves, currents, tides. These are the three types of movements in the oceans. Waves. When the water on the surface of the ocean rises and falls, they are called waves. Waves are formed when gentle winds scrape across the ocean surface. The faster the wind, the bigger will be the waves. Yes, of course. What is when the water on the surface rises and falls? Called waves. Yes, I have already shown you all the images of all these. Once again, I am collecting it. Yes. So the surface of water rises and falls, goes up and down are called waves. Yes. So this is across the ocean surface. When the wind is big, the wave also will be big, right? When the wind is small, the wave will be very small. Currents. In the oceans, water moves from one part to another in big streams. These streams, which flow constantly in a definite direction on the surface of the ocean, are called ocean currents. What are ocean currents, children? The oceans, water moves from one part to another. Yes or no? They won't be stable at one place. They will move from one place to another. These streams, which flow constantly in a definite direction of one surface. So these will be flowing, moving to one towards the one direction is one direction of the surface of the ocean is called ocean currents. The ocean currents are of two types. That is nothing but warm currents and cold currents. What are the two kinds of ocean currents? That are warm currents and cold currents. Okay, warm currents is what? The warm currents that flow from towards the equatorial region, towards the poles. Okay, and what are the cold currents? Cold currents is that flow from the poles to the equatorial region. These are the two currents. Yes, when I have explained you all about latitude and longitude, I have shown you all, right. There are two poles, that is North Pole and the South Pole. Yes, the middle part is equatorial region. So what is a warm current? Warm current means that flow from the equatorial region towards the poles. Means from middle to the poles. And what are the cold currents? That means from the poles to the mid, right? The cold currents flow from the poles to the equatorial region. They are mainly caused by prevailing winds. How it will cause? By the winds only. Yes, differences in temperature and salinity of ocean water. So there will be a differences in the water. How it will move through the wind. So these are the currents. What are tides now? Tides are the rhythmic rise and fall in the level of the water in the oceans every day. All the places of the coast experience some hours of low tide and some hours of high tide. What are the tides? It's a rhythmic fall of level of the water. Every day water will be in a rhythmic way. Yes, all the places on the coast experience some hours will have, some of them will have low tide, some of hours will have high tide. Tides do not rise on the same height every day. When the tide is high, water comes up to the coast for some distance. Then, as low tide begins, the water moves back from the land. The tides are of great help for fishing. Tides at some place take away mud brought down rivers and prevent slitting. So in tides we do have high tide and a low tide, right? High tide, it will have to a some height to every day. Some has, it won't be the same height every day. It will be having high tide and the low tide. Yes, low tide, what will happen? It will take over the mud and it will having a slit. It will go to the mud will go into the rivers, down into the rivers, right? So with this we have completed the oceans. Okay, children. Once again we'll tell what are the three kinds of oceans. Three kinds of ocean movements. That is nothing but waves, currents, and tides. Yes. What are the waves? That waves means rise and fall of the water bodies, right? On the oceans and falls, they are called waves. What are currents? There are two types of currents. What are currents actually? Currents are nothing but it will move towards the streams with a one direction. Yes, and there are two types of currents. What are the two types of currents? Warm currents and cold currents. So warm currents is nothing but the warm currents are currents which flow from the equatorial region towards the poles. And what are the cold currents? The cold currents is it is nothing but will flow the water from the poles to the equatorial current region. Yes, tide. Coming to the tide. Tide is nothing but rise and fall of the level of the water in the oceans. So we do have a high tide and the low tide. So since water is not a constant, it will be having the changes in their tides for every day and even for hours also. Okay, so this is oceans. So I want you all to write in your classwork uh, the kinds of movements. Okay, kinds of movements. And children, please post your homeworks in the group. Everyone, whoever are watching the video, kindly post your homework in your group. We'll be taking your attendance. If at all you are not completing your homework and sending in your post, it will be a serious action towards you all. Okay.